Yes, people, what's happening? We are now live. Looking forward to seeing you all in the chat. Hopefully this is working properly. And if you are watching this on replay, please do comment replay. If you are brand new, please comment new and tell us where you are tuning in from today. We're live across Facebook and YouTube. Let's just have a little look and double check that we are live across both of these. Yeah, we are. That is sound. We are up and running. Just to double check. Yes, people, we're getting lads coming into the chat now. Keith Roberts coming in from Sunny. Ronnie Sprigg coming in. Hiya, Frankie and Will. Paddy O'Shea is in here. We have got Luke Ashley coming in from Salford. What's happening, people? Lovely to see you all. It is your Monday Night Live with Frankie and Will. Please do, if you are tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from. If you're watching it on replay, comment replay. And we will have a little chat to you all for the next hour. And let you know what's happening with us and what's going on. How are you today? All right?
Yes and no. We may as well get this over with, really.
Well, let's just wait till there's some more people in the chat so we can speak to some people first. We've got Mike Crow, yo, Frankie, Tommy Murphy, yes, boys. We've got Rick Mitchell coming in from Costa del Stockport. Sean Evans, the boys from Doncaster. P. Diddy's in the chat. He says, mate, do you tattoo your eyebrows on?
Is that Diddy Dave?
No, it's just a fella called P. Diddy.
Mm. P. Diddy is your name. You really Sean Puffy Combs.
We've got Sean Evans, our two boys from Doncaster. Sean Tolman's coming in. Frank the Ghost is in the building.
Frank the Ghost, yeah, from Stratford-upon-Avon. Good lad. You all right, Frank? How you doing, mate?
Kim Black coming in from Sunderland. Benny Davidson's in here. We've got Kian coming in from Anglesey. Loads of people in the chat. We're going to talk to you all in just a sec. Tommy Tate's in the house. What's happening, Tommy Tate?
Tommy, how are you, mate?
And while we've got loads of people in the chat, do give us a thumb up on this video, get it shared, and tell us where you are tuning in from today. It does go a long way. So, Frank, a bit of negative news to start off. Do you want to fill people in about what's happened over the last 24 hours?
Yeah, a lot of people will know from the vlogs. Young Dave, who comes to a lot of shows with us, and his great personality, fantastic guy, and my mate and Will's mate and Jimmy Kilvo with Middlesbrough, very outgoing character, but great laugh. And sadly, his niece Alex was involved in an accident last night and passed away in a car crash. So obviously, we've seen Dave today, and I've been down to Dave's sister's house, Jeanette, and obviously everyone's distraught, and we just keep them in your prayers if you can.
Yeah, and
God rest his soul.
Yeah, our thoughts are with Dave and all the family today. And if anyone wants to pass on your best wishes to Dave, feel free to do so. He's a legendary figure. He's one of our best friends, and sorry to have to start this on that type of note. But that's basically what's been happening. So we've got loads of people coming in here. Deborah, Rick, lovely comments from you all, and I appreciate that. So thanks very much. On a to lighten this mood a little bit, tell us. I'm sure that's kind of like being affecting you the last 24 hours and myself. But I want to tell everyone on here that we have had a lot of support over the last week. We started a Buy Me a Coffee page that you will see above or below this video somewhere, where you can basically support the channel and help us to get back on the road and start producing more video content. And Deborah Gibson, and we've also got Gary Mason and Craig and Andy, I think it was, who have all donated to the channel this week. So massive thank you to all you people who have donated on there. And really, really appreciate it. If you do want to support the channel, you can do above or below. And I appreciate we've gone a little bit quiet right now. All your lovely comments that have been coming in. I'm sure they will be able to see them all. And we'll pass on all of your best wishes to him and the family. Okay, so on another note, Tom Evans says, when are you coming to Dudley, lads? Frank, where's Dudley?
Dudley's in the West Midlands, and I've actually done Dudley over the years a few times. Great crowd down there. I don't know, Will, you know better than me, when we're down in the Midlands again? West Midlands?
West Midlands, is that Cov or is that Birmingham or Redditch?
Further on, really. No, it's Birmingham, really. He wants to, if he's in Dudley.
Dudley.
If we're not going to Wolverhampton, the next bet for him is Birmingham.
Yeah, we will have a full release on all the upcoming shows at the very, very end of the week. So just to try and lighten things a little bit, please do tell us where you are tuning in from tonight. If you're watching it on the replay, comment replay. But if you're watching it live, let us know where you're tuning in from. We've got loads of stuff that's coming for you and over the next couple of weeks. And we're just going to have a free and easy chat tonight for an hour where we can talk about whatever you lot want to talk about. So Keris has come in the chat and says, any plans on getting a gig up in Scotland, and are you looking forward to getting back on the road? So first of all, tell me, Frank, are you looking forward to getting back on the road?
I'm kind of really, really, really looking forward to getting back on the road. Been a long time since we've been working indoors, done an outdoor show last year. So chomping at the bit. No, Jimmy Kilvington, our support comedian, is in the same mind as me and Will. We're just dying to get out there. So why don't you buy your tickets for the 5th of June, Blackpool North Pier. That's our first gig. And I've got to make sure it's going to be a fantastic night.
Yeah, we are back up and running in Blackpool North Pier. I think there's 350 tickets gone in the first week, which is absolutely fantastic going. And it looks like it's going to be sold out by payday, which is this coming week. So make sure you get your tickets so you don't miss out for that. But are you any plans on getting a gig up in Scotland?
Well, I love Scotland. I mean, we did Edinburgh, the Dual Miners Club in Edinburgh, and then did the Buddha Bar, done the Buddha Bar in Glasgow, and fantastic night we had for Tom Melville. It was great, and we made some really good friends up there. Love to go back there. And as soon as the lockdown's totally lifted, we're going to really try to get to every part of the UK, the British Isles, even Ireland, Dublin. We really want to get out there.
Simon said Cardiff, I hope soon. Yes, Cardiff is on the agenda, mate. You can actually get your tickets now. It's not been marketed or launched yet, but you can get
we're doing the Cardiff Arena again. And aren't we going to Pembroke Dock, or there's thoughts of Pembroke Dock?
Yeah, Port Talbot.
Port Talbot, yeah.
Yeah. Not Pembroke Dock just yet. Any in the northeast, a lot of people asking where we are going to be this year. We're literally going to be all over the UK. People are saying come to Barnsley. We've got Maidstone in Kent, which is actually on sale now. We've got Rory tuning in from Banbury. All of these places are places where we're trying to get to in the UK, including Colchester, Neil Duffett, and Northampton, which is what Dan Wooding is asking for. Massive, massive thank you to anyone who's telling us where you are tuning in from, because it helps us to know where we can come in the UK. We've got It's the Cod Pro, who says he watched Frank earlier on The Comedians when he still had hair. He was brilliant back then. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, that was in 1990, and there may not be anybody really who's listening or watching this now can remember the old Comedian show. That was on in the 70s, and people like Stan Boardman, Nick Miller, Mickey Finn, Eddie Archer, all these, George Roper, Ken Goodwin, all these old style comics. They were on a show on ITV Granada called The Comedians. I think it was in mid-70s. Immensely popular, fantastic. Everybody watched the TV. No one had a mobile phone then, no such thing as cell phones. Everyone was watching television. And that show made stars out of an awful lot of the people that appeared on The Comedians show. Jimmy Jones was on it, and Mike Reed, another one who appeared, a London comic, sadly died. Yeah, fantastic show. So I think somebody had the idea in the early 90s of bringing back The Comedian show. And there was a channel called Granada Plus. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a kind of like an offshoot from Granada anyway. Granada, the ordinary Granada television, independent TV, ITV. And I got invited on, people like myself, a guy called Jimmy Carroll, Sean Stiles, Mike Lancaster, a lot of northern comics really mainly appeared on it. It was great, and that was 1990, and I had loads of hair then, mate, you're right, and I'm looking great. And remember, it was in the summer, and it was filmed in a place in Ashton-under-Lyne, which is the other side of Manchester, going towards Sheffield. And we were in this club, there was no audience, so they had to bust the audience in from this old people's home somewhere, because the producer and director had forgotten to get an audience in. Can you imagine that? There was no audience. We got all these pensioners in. Good enough, they were great. They were laughing like fucking hell. And I was on, many other comedians, a girl called comedian Chrissy Rock, She was on there. Pauline Daniels, comedian, she was on it as well. There's lots and lots of comics on, and I done very well on it. But again, just like being an opportunity knocks 10 years before, 3 years before, 4 years before. Sorry, that was 1999. We done the New Comedian Show. I was on Opportunity Knocks in '87 with Bob Monkhouse, 1999. And there was a platform for people to kind of like take off and make it. But again, I just kind of like, I've done very well on the show, but never made it.
Brilliant. So I hope that answers your question. Or actually, it wasn't even a question. He just said you were brilliant back then. Still brilliant back then, so you must think you're brilliant now. Do you think, just for anyone who's watching this, that you've improved as an act since then? Or do you think you're kind of like...
But it's a strange thing, is this like everything else? You know, if you're a plumber or you're a kind of like plasterer or a mechanic or whatever, there must be a time in your life when you reach your peak and then you start to descend, go down the nick. And you can see it in footballers, can't you? Where mainly footballers are at the peak, what would you say, mid-20s, late 20s, you know, when everything comes together, like a boxer, all these heavyweight world champions, the ones that have stayed the course. You do get exceptions, like George Foreman. Has this gone off?
No.
Like George Foreman, who became the WBA world champion, WBC world champion at 45. Mainly as a boxer, you lose a lot of your speed and a little bit of your stamina, and you go kind of like downhill from 30 onwards. The same with a footballer. With a comic, don't forget, all you got to do is stand there with a microphone telling jokes, so you don't have to exert yourself at all. It's not like as though you're digging holes on a building site. All you do is stand there. So I can go on forever. Comedian can go on literally forever. I suppose in the end, you may start losing your timing. You may start losing kind of like your memory as well about, you know, which gags to remember and routines. But at the moment, I'm feeling good. And your brain, what I've found over the last few years, your brain is like a muscle, like any other muscle. If you exercise it, you know, it will work better. So you should challenge yourself. As people out there, anyone who's getting on a little bit or whatever, and you're frightened of getting Alzheimer's or dementia, do the crossword, do quizzes, watch quizzes on the TV, keep your brain occupied and quiz yourself, quiz your brain. And that's how you keep sharp.
Okay, let's talk to some people. A lot of people, we've got Ketta's tuning in from Greenock, Inverclyde in Scotland. Joyce Monk's coming in from Manchester. Loads of people in here. Frankie is saying old school quality. We've got loads of people asking questions, but we have just been sent a £5. Massive thank you to Paul Brookfield, who's just sent that in. He says, Frankie and Will, could you give my new clothing brand a shout out, please? And I'll send over a cap and t-shirt once I get back in stock next month. Battenbrook, it's called on Instagram. Keep it up, boys. Nice one, Paul.
Battenbrook, that's it. Battenbrook. Get your stuff from Battenbrook, all your caps, all your tops. They're the best in the world. Battenbrook, look out for it.
They're the best in the world. It's good to see you going for it, mate, and doing something cool. So all props to you, mate. Everyone, I think Jordan this time as a kind of, especially Jordan, the coronavirus period and the lockdown, a lot of reflection going on for people, and they decided to do new things, and that's massive, mate, that you've got a new clothing brand. So shout out to you. Aaron Haas is in the chat. He says Frankie reached his peak the day he conceived Will.
I wouldn't argue with that. Will is my son and the most important thing in my life, and that's why I got my tattoo, if you remember last week. And it says on my tattoo, for any Spanish speakers, mi único hijo, mi sangre, which roughly translates to my one and only son, my flesh and blood, with his date of birth.
Well, just on that note, Nigel Dancy has commented in saying, how's the tattoo, Frank?
Tattoo's looking great. Strangely, it's never flaked. It's never gone kind of like scabby. It's been great since the day I got it done. It's about 10 days ago I got it done. And don't forget, I got it done in a place called the Devil's Cove. And that's in Anfield in Liverpool. Fantastic tattoo studio run by a great friend of mine.
And I think the lads from Devil's Cove are in the chat right now. I'm sure I saw
Stevie Muscat. John Muscat. John Muscat. John Muscat, a very good friend of mine. Yeah. And I knew his
Stevie Muscat.
I knew his dad. Well, I knew his dad.
Oh, is that what his name was?
Oh,
okay,
Stevie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you would get.
I think they're his uncles, Stevie and Robbie.
Okay, let's see what people are saying. We've got Al, who says, get your tits out, you cunt, yeah.
Okay.
Scott Golding says, who's your favourite stand-up comedian, Frank?
I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't know them probably. My favourite comedians, some brilliant comedians in this country. Roy's great. You know, don't forget Chubby Brown, brilliant, fantastic comedian, living legend and a lovely man. I like a lot of the American comics. There's some good. I don't know if you've ever watched a videotape from a few years ago called "The Original Kings of Comedy" with Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer. These are all black guys in America, fantastic comedians. What's the other guy's name? D.L. Hughley. Lawrence is a Stevie Lawrence. Some fantastic American comics. Cedric the Entertainer is very good. He's one of my favourites. Absolutely fantastic. And there's a guy called Stephen Wright as well. I used to love. I watched him many, many times years ago on a TV. He was on the Bob Monkhouse show once a few years ago. American comic, very, very dry.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to talk to some people in the chat now. 15 minutes into this one, we're going to be on here for an hour. Do us a favour, lads, if you are in the chat, do give us a thumb up, get this shared. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on the link below to the Buy Me a Coffee page, because we are trying to get some more video equipment to make this a better experience for you and do a lot more of them. But what we would love to know more than anything is where you are tuning in from tonight. And if you've got any questions for Frank or myself, let us know what you would like to ask in the comments. But do tell us where you're tuning in from, because it helps us get to everywhere in the UK when we plan our tour. We've got, I've just watched your house tour video.
Okay.
Kian says, and got intrigued when you mentioned that you were in a movie about Al Capone. Do you want to fill us people in on that one?
Yeah, what happened was they made a movie, and it was about 15 years ago now, in Liverpool, called Al's Lads. Now, as I have been for majority, 99% of my life, I was totally unknown. And a friend of mine said there's a casting agency in Liverpool looking for extras. So I went along, got a part as an extra in this movie. They were filming in Liverpool called Al's Lads, about Al Capone. And it's about two Liverpool lads who go over to America, get involved in Al Capone, get involved with the gangsters. And one of them was a boxer. And Richard Roundtree was in it, very famous actor who played Shaft, and everyone remembers Shaft. And big time actor, Richard Roundtree, black guy, fantastic. John H. Stracey done the choreography, former welterweight world champion. And the boxing aficionados out there remember John H. Stracey, former welterweight world champion. He done, and Ray Nicholas, they done all the choreography for boxing. A lot of boxing went on in the movie too. It was a great film. But I think the guy was called Brian Ward. He was the director, this English guy. Al Sapienza was in the movie. Al Sapienza was in the first series of The Sopranos. So it was a great movie, a lot of big stars in it. And there were 200 extras. I was just one of them. At the time, I had my thick jet black hair and whatever. And a friend of mine, Dino, as well, Dino De Matteo. He's very dark. He's Sicilian. I'm kind of like still dark Spanish. Our family was Spanish descent. So he rummaged through everybody and he said, you look like an Italian gangster to me. And he said to Dino, you look like an American Italian gangster. Come with me. And he gave the two of us part as Al Capone's bodyguards. Now, it was fantastic. It was great being in the movie. And I actually got a little speaking part in it. And 3 days we were outside St. George's Hall in Liverpool, which doubled our City Hall in Chicago in the States in the 1920s. We were sitting in this huge kind of 1920s vintage American car. They had a rain machine, they had crowds. I ran up the steps of this City Hall, got machine gunned, fell down. Great movie, thought it was a big movie star. And sadly, they cut it all out. You know, the way they edit these movies, they cut whole scenes out, would you believe? So it was all cut out, very disappointed. But I do know that it was kind of, it was shown in the USA, and that was a slightly longer version. So I think the part that I was in and Dino was in, my mate, you know, when we were in the back of the car with Al Capone speaking, I think they kept that in. So yeah, that was Al's Lads, a great film.
Brilliant. Okay, if you got any more questions for Frank, please throw them into the chat. We've got Scott Golden, who says, I've heard of a couple of those comedians you mentioned. I would love to come and watch you at one of your shows. You're absolutely amazing and you get me in stitches. Massive thank you, Scott.
Thanks for that.
He says, what do you reckon to Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart's very good, and he's done very well. I mean, multi-millionaire, he's done marvellous. And you've got to take your hat off to these guys. I can see, a lot of these comics that you'd never see, but I can see. A lot of these comics I watch on the TV, even the huge, stars like Kevin Hart, international worldwide stars, I'm watching their eyes. You can always tell when they're a bit nervous or if they're watching the crowd, because their eyes, you won't notice, but I notice, they're moving from side to side. So yeah, he's very good, and he's very, innovative. He thinks of things. I can tell he's thinking of things actually spontaneously on the spot. Doesn't always keep to a script. Very clever man, and very reminiscent, really, of Eddie Murphy. The king of them all was Richie Pryor. He's my hero of all time. Earlier on, we're speaking about comedians, but I was speaking about comedians who are alive, although I think Bernie Mac died. Richard Pryor, you want to watch him if you can, get some old DVD, CDs, whatever it's called. Watch him. Fantastic, Richard Pryor.
Brilliant. Okay, massive thank you to all the questions coming in. Really enjoying this one, to be honest. It's quite free and easy, and that's what this chat is about tonight. If you don't know, every Monday we do a live video at 7 o'clock, and it is literally just a chilled convo with everyone. So let's talk to some people. Chris Ramsey's in the chat. He says, if you hadn't made it as a comic, what career path would you have taken?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have taken any kind of career path. I mean, people say to me, Frankie, how did you go for 40 years with no success at all? Why did you stick at it? Why did you stay at it till you're very nearly an old man? Well, it's necessity, really. Even when I started in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, I was always earning money. As a comic, just like a singer who goes around the clubs, or a magician, whatever you do, you can earn money and it's keeping you going. I mean, even in the 80s and 90s, I could earn a week's wage virtually, in one night. So even if you only work one night a week, still keeping you alive. But I love being a comic. I mean, this virus thing, lockdown has literally been the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But we're getting through it, and we'll work again. Yeah, but I carried on because I love being a comic, and because I was still earning a few quid.
Brilliant. Okay, massive thank you to all of your questions. We've got Big K, aka Keith Roberts, who has just sent us a £5 on. Let me just see if that'll focus on there. Big K sent a £5 into the Buy Me a Coffee.
Big K, thanks for that £5, mate.
Keith, you're a legend, mate, and massive thank you. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on the link below or above. Okay, let's talk to some people. We've got Stuart Salvin. He's a good lad. He's always in the chat. He says, Frank, did you watch Jim Carrey when he did stand-up?
I've seen Jim Carrey, and he's very good. He's quite zany, isn't he? He's absolutely zany. A lot of these American comics are quite crazy and putting faces and all this kind of thing. It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I love, and I don't really like, I know there's some decent, these stars on the TV, they do the alternative style of comedy, which I don't like personally. I mean, anybody is welcome to go and entertain people, and if they make people laugh, best of luck to them, but it's not my cup of tea. I like old style, what you call old style now.
Well, that's exactly what someone else has just asked.
Telling a gag, which has got a punchline.
Well, that's the question from Noel Darby. Yeah. Do you like one-liner comedians?
Yeah, I love one-liner comedians. You've got a gag, a joke has to be a story. It has to be a little story, a tale about something that's going on. And where you get the laugh is, at the end of the gag, you deliver the punchline, which is not what your audience is expecting. They're expecting something else. That's how you get the laugh. But observational comedy is what the alternative comics do. They start saying things like, have you noticed when you go into a shop and you ask the guy for a bin bag, he says, come with me, I'll take you. And then, he runs away and he comes back, but he still hasn't got the bag. There's no punchline, is there? It doesn't appeal to me at all. I actually think it's crap.
Fair enough, but the question was about Jim Carrey.
I know, but I answered that question.
Yeah, I know, but
hang on a minute. I answered the question early on to say that Jim Carrey's very good, but he's like zany comedy. He's not telling gags.
Like one of your favourites in films?
I like him in movies. Yeah, I think he's
like
very
the
good.
Truman Show and that.
Yeah, but he's not telling gags there. He's not being a comic. I like him being zany, but he's not my style of comedy, which is material jokes.
Okay, we've got It's the Cod Pros back again. He says Bob Monkhouse was the master at shutting down the hecklers. Is right, Frank? Is this right, Frank? Carl from Birmingham.
Bob Monkhouse was a brilliant comedian, a legend. I had the opportunity to meet Bob Monkhouse, and a great guy, lovely man. Very, very quick-witted. And yet you're right, 100% right.
Why was he so good at shutting down hecklers?
Because he was, I wouldn't say he was a lot of comedians knocking about the country who can shut down hecklers. What it was with Bob Monkhouse, he had tons and tons of material. Some of you old enough may remember he had some joke books, hundreds of jokes in books, and they got stolen from his house, got burgled, and he had to pay a big ransom more or less to get his jokes back.
That's mad.
But he had a lot of good material, and he could shut down any hecklers with some very good stuff. That was his secret.
Brilliant. Okay.
Good material.
David's saying the best comedy, I think, is so spontaneous and off the cuff. That's probably.
Well, look, we've discussed this many times, and it is true, and I found it to be true. You can write new material, you can write gags out, you can write what I call heckle stoppers. If you're getting heckled, you come back with something that's clever and witty. And this is what the alternative crowd try to be. It's as though they're in a kind of an after-dinner party and they're smoking cigars, repartee. I can be clever and more ironic than you, which is a million miles away from working-class comedy, which is what I'm trying to do. And really, sometimes you can get a bigger laugh by telling someone to fuck off than by being clever and ironic.
Yeah, let's see. Interesting. Fair play. We've got Evening Frank and Will. That's from Alex Taylor. Nice one. What about Tommy Cooper? Could he control the crowd? That's from Luke Haley.
Well, there's another living legend. Sorry, he's gone now. I think Tommy Cooper. I never saw him live, but I've heard some great reports about Tommy Cooper. What you've got to remember with these people, they were all great in their day. Now, comedy, just like all human beings and people, the way that people think, is evolving all the time. So what was funny in the 70s is not funny now. What made people laugh during the war and before the war, you watch some of these old movies on the television, to us now, they're absolutely ridiculous and silly.
Well,
but people used to fall over and piss themselves. People like Normal Wisdom.
Well, while you're on that note, Paul Plaskett, who's a good lad, he's always in the chat. Nice one, Paul. He says, "Hi, boys. I've just been watching a Marx Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious and still fresh, as is Laurel and Hardy movies. Amazing how it's still funny. Keep up the good work."
Well, they're exceptions, and I stand corrected on that. Laurel and Hardy, brilliant. Still have me in stitches, and the Marx Brothers, absolutely hilarious. But what I'm saying is the general trend, the way the comedy has evolved over the years, it's gone from being very, very slapstick, as it was, in the 1920s and 30s, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, people falling off ladders, custard pies in people's faces, Mr. Pastry in the 30s and 40s, falling off ladders and all the slapstick stuff. Then it went to, stand-up comedy where people are actually telling gags, 70s, 80s and 90s. Now it's gone into this alternative mode. But yeah, I'm not bitter against comedy. If it's not my style of comedy, I just think the stuff I do is the best.
Okay, we just had a lovely message through from young Dave there. He said, "Hello, Will and Frank. Thanks for your support and friendship," from Dave. So I'm sure he's saying that to everyone else here in the chat.
Well, if you've only just joined, there's a very good friend of ours, young Dave, who's appeared on many podcasts, very close friend of ours, tragically, and very tragically lost his niece last night in a car crash. So our prayers are with young Dave. And,
yeah.
So and a little prayer for Alex, a lovely girl, lovely, beautiful, very pretty girl as well. It was a terrible tragedy. So God rest her soul.
And all of our thoughts are with Dave and all of his family. And if you'd like to send your condolences his way, I'm sure he'd be extremely grateful. And he's got a lot of love for all the people on here, much like you have for him. So let's see what some people are saying. We've got Malcolm Smith. Now, I don't want you to go on a tangent here, so this is a quick warning, but he says, "It's all too politically correct."
Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to kick off my private thoughts, my thoughts on PC and the way things have gone in entertainment in this country. Probably get me 10 years in jail. But seriously, it's gone too PC. And what you can say now and what you can't say, you kind of negotiating yourself through a minefield of what you can say, and they change it every week, every other week. I've gone on and Will's come to me in the dressing room and said, "What are you? Oh no, don't, you can't say that. Don't say that." You go, okay, drop that routine. So you're carrying on and all that. The following week, another show. then somebody will say, you can't say that anymore. Don't say that, you'll get locked up. So it's very, very sad the way the freedom of speech has totally disappeared in this country now. It's like being in Russia when I was a kid, where you can get put in court for even the things that you say, which is shocking, really. And the things that you can say on stage now are absolutely dwarfed by the things that you can't say. So as I say, it's like negotiating a minefield. It's very difficult.
Just let me stop you there. There's some absolute helmet in the chat called Derek, and he just keeps putting absolute silly comments. Look, mate.
Well, what's he saying?
He's just saying stupid stuff. So what I want to do is just make sure he gets banned for the sex. So let's just block him.
Yeah.
Give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to go on to the video. We've got... Sorry for the hold up, guys. I just want to get rid of this guy in the chat because he's annoying a few people and he's annoying me as well. 2 seconds.
Well, what's he actually saying?
Well, it just doesn't make any difference. I don't want to give him any. I don't want to give him any. What you call it? A few people and he's annoying me as well. Sorry, that's me. Oh. Let's get this guy banned from the chat.
Yeah, if any dickheads come on, we just get them fucked off, banned. So whoever you are, mate, go and fuck yourself.
Hard user on this channel. There we go. Messages are hit. That's fine, no problem. Apologies for that, guys. It was just some fucking helmet who just keeps saying, well, this is what he did, keep saying, but we just hit him. The least funny comedian in the world and his boyfriend. The only funny thing about that fool Alan are his teeth and eyebrows. What a fucking legend you are, Derek Giles. You've just been banned from the chat anyway. But
well,
seriously,
Giles,
what do you think he's doing sitting on? What fella sat at home doing that?
Saying my boyfriend, that's my son, mate. So, you know, you're just a fucking prick, mate. Just a dickhead. Probably like just sitting in a bed, sit on your own pair of glasses.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. Yeah, everyone says, see you, Derek.
Derek,
dickhead,
off.
Derek. All the rest of it. Haters, mate. Look. Bye, Derek. Massive thank you to everyone who's backing us up there. Genuinely, I don't get that. Like, why would someone want to go on a video of someone else's just to be
what
weird?
You've got to remember, you're a bit naive on this, if you don't mind me saying. I've seen a lot of documentaries on television. These trolls, they're normally perverts who are sitting kind of in a bed sit on their own. They've got no life, normally ugly, like, you know, and like horrible. And they just sit there trolling people. I mean, people have taken their own lives. Yeah. Because of these fucking idiots. There's thousands of kids. There's one fella who was going on encouraging people to take their own life. And what the fucking is that all about? And they caught him, and, you know, they traced him in the end, and he got jailed. The fella in Canada it was. But, you know, people were coming on a little bit depressed, and he was saying and replying to them, I'll tell you how to take your own life. These people should be fucking jailed. Yeah. You know, a lot of people take their own lives, who've had mental health problems, because of some prick who's hiding in some fucking bed sit somewhere, you know, trying to, getting kicks out of insulting people. Just fucking pricks,
It's
mate.
just weird.
Evil dickheads.
He came back into the chat trying to say the same thing again. What the hell?
What a fucking idiots.
What you'd be interested in doing that for, I have got no idea. Okay, let's talk to some other people in the chat. We've got David Duggan, who says, you know what they say, people who do that are just jealous of your success. There you go. Frank.
I wouldn't even say that. You get a lot of people, as I've just said just previously, just before, you know, they tried to what's the word, to police the internet, but they can't really, because it's so vast. The amount of people who are going on trolling people, you know, driving teenage kids to suicide, it's unbelievable. You know, they all need fucking off.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, Will, some advice? Get some moderators, mate, and you can concentrate on the show. Jeff, fill me in. I don't really understand what you mean by moderators. I'll have to get that sorted. And yeah, I would like to concentrate on the show.
Third party that it goes to, and if he sees anything that's a bit weird, he just deletes it and deletes them. Okay. And you don't have to do it all.
We'll have to get that sorted. Okay, let's talk to some people. We've got Ashley Wild, who's in the chat. He says, hello, lads. Hope you're well. I'm just in A&E, slicing my hand on a Stanley knife, doing the fake grass. And as you do, I'm so pissed off with this weight.
Well, I hope you're okay. I hope you haven't lost a lot of blood, because a Stanley knife, a craft knife, is the proper term for them. Box cutter. they're known as in the States, they can be terribly sharp. So you've got to be so careful. As you say, you're probably going to get a couple of stitches. Hope you're okay.
Okay, let's talk to some people. Ashley, I do hope you're all right, mate, and keep yourself well. Hope you get back to full fitness after your hand. Let's see what we've got. One sec. What's this? What people are saying. Darren says, to have hate for anyone is the equivalent of taking poison and hoping the other man dies. What do you think about that?
That's a good analogy. Very good. Top of the class, mate.
Okay, Jason, nice one. He says, hi guys, just recently discovered you, so I've been binge watching the channel. You guys are great. Keep up the good work and look forward to more of your work. Appreciate that, Jason.
Thanks for that.
Now, just while everyone is on here, and it's on that note, obviously you'll be aware that the vlogs are not out at the moment, but they will be returning very, very soon. It was purely...
When is it the Devil's Cove one out?
I just need to edit it, so it'll be out.
Got to be edited, out soon.
Out next week.
Tattoo you.
Yeah, okay, let's see what people are saying. Colin Fox says, what kind of audiences are the worst, Frank?
Well, look, I've been doing it that long. I'm extremely lucky now that we've got our own shows, sell our own tickets, we hire the venue, and the audience are coming to see me and to see James Kilvington, who's also, like me, brilliant comedian. Now, the worst kind of crowds I found are any crowd that have been drinking too much, and I've had lots of experience in this over the years. If you've got a crowd in front of you and they're ready to respond, they're sitting there waiting for the comic to come out, you're in with a chance. If you go into a pub or a club where you get there at like 11 o'clock at night and they want you on at midnight and they've been drinking since 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you've got no chance. So they're the worst type of audiences, pissed audiences.
Okay, interesting. Let's see what we've got. What's your worst fear in life? That's from Scott Golden.
Worst fear in life? Probably not working on the stage.
Okay.
Again, nearly kind of like, it's nearly come true, hasn't it, with this fucking lockdown? But thank God we've got shows in from June the 5th at Blackpool. So we're up and away again. But yeah, it's been a big fear of mine. The more time went on, and I thought, fucking hell, don't forget this, what everybody forgets. It was only before Christmas, I think it was October last year, when there was no cure for this virus. Now, we're okay now, we're coming out of it. But if it wasn't for our vaccine, thank God for our fantastic scientists in Cambridge that came up with the vaccine, the first people in the world, left to the British to save the world again, just like in World War II, World War One. Yeah, if it wasn't for those scientists, we'd be fucked. It'd be like India. Now, strangely enough, I went for petrol last night in the garage, and one of the lads that works in the garage, Sri Lankan guy, Indian, and his friend over in India sent a video of what it's really like in India now. They only show you so much on the TV, and it was just like a movie. People were falling over in the street, dying in the street, people screaming and people being thrown in the back of vans. So just thank God that we're all okay. We know people have lost people. People watching this have lost people. I've lost some good friends through the virus. People have died. And it's been a terrible thing for the country, terrible tragedy. But we've been very brave and we're coming through it, just like we did in the war. And it's onwards and upwards.
Spot on. Let's talk to some people. By the way, been on here for 40 minutes. We've enjoyed your company. Please do, if you have enjoyed this video, give us a thumb up. Get this video shared. If you're watching it on replay, comment replay. But if you are watching it live, please tell us where you are tuning in from tonight. We're trying to plan our UK tour. We want to get all over the place. We want to know where we need to get to. And you telling us where you're tuning in from does help. Let's talk to some people. Brendan Morris says he's looking at booking for Blackpool in June. Brendan, if you are looking at booking in Blackpool for Blackpool in June, you better get your tickets quick, mate, because that show is going to sell out very, very soon. Are you looking forward to that show?
I'm looking forward to it, just as though, it was my 21st birthday.
Okay.
Which was a long time ago.
Let's see. Collie Brown says he's just driving home, listening, lads. He's got another hour. Keep me company, please. Well,
Collie, where are you driving from? I'm very curious, mate. Let us know where you are and where you're going to.
Okay, let's see what people are saying. We've got Liz Price, who says, "Hiya, Frankie and Will. It was great to see you. Frank the Ghost and I to come and see you at the rescheduled show in Birmingham in July. Really looking forward to seeing you and James again. Just what we need, a good laugh. Would love to come and say hi to you, Frankie, if you have time. Please send our best to Dave in our thoughts and prayers." Massive thank you, Liz, and look forward to seeing you there.
Frank the Ghost's partner, and he's down in Stratford-upon-Avon. I think he's about the same age as me, and we've had some great chats over the last 12 months or so with Frank the Ghost. So, Frank, when you come to Birmingham, when we do the photo opportunity at the end, when you come up to get your photo taken with me, let me know that you're Frank the Ghost, because you're a good lad. Love to meet you.
Okay, let's see what people are saying. We've got Frankie. This is from David Hicks. Have you or would you consider an outdoor gig?
We've done outdoor gigs. We did one last year on August the 8th in Stanley Park, which is a big park in Liverpool, between Anfield Stadium and Goodison Park, the Everton Stadium. And it was fantastic. It was great. So
there you go.
We've not done any since, really.
Paul Edwards says, "You only respond to people who donate stars." Mate,
who donate stars?
Donate stars.
No, that's wrong.
There's been no stars donated in this chat.
There's been no stars donated. We're not. I don't do this for fucking money, mate, or to try and get whatever it is. Fuck off.
Okay.
What's wrong with people?
Let's see what people are saying. We've got Luke Haley, who says, "When did you learn French and are you fluent?"
Well, strangely enough, my mate, Rod, who's got a big factory in Llangefni and Anglesey, is French. She's from Brittany. And he comes over. I met him yesterday, and we were down at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Liverpool, and we sat outside, and it was great. And a few drinks, we had a chat. I would say, yeah, pretty fluent really now in French, but it's been a hobby of mine. I've done a bit of French in school, and after we left school, I kept it up. I'm very interested in languages. I can speak Spanish, I can speak German, and I'm in the process now of getting on with my Italian. I mean, probably never even go to these places, especially the way it is now. Although I think Spain's going to open up again. But it's just something, as I said earlier on to people, learn a language and you'd be surprised how it exercises your brain, your mind. You know, it keeps those, what are they called, neurons firing in your brain, keep you alert.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got 15 minutes left. We've got loads and loads of Bosch comments coming in. Really appreciate it. Frank, Jamie Henderson says, "What's your thoughts on Stevie Gerrard's managerial performance?"
Well, it looks as though he's done fantastic at Rangers. Obviously, he's won the Scottish Premiership, so best of luck to him. I've never met Stevie. He's a Heighton lad, and you know, I know a few people who know him. It's weird, and when you know someone that knows him personally, you know Jamie Carragher, so does Will. He's a great lad. So majority of people aren't the, most people in Britain, you know, the British Isles, and most people you meet all over the world, really, 99% of people are sound, aren't they? It's only the odd person that's a bit of a prick.
Okay, we've got Paul Edwards is saying that he asked a serious question with no answer. Mate, I apologise if I didn't get around to your question. There's so many that come in here. So just let us know again, if you wouldn't mind, what your question was. Okay, do you write all your gags down somewhere like Bob Monkhouse did?
No.
Or do you just commit them to memory?
All committed to memory, and it's a strange thing the way your mind works. It's like a coiled spring; it will unravel. And after, when you're on stage, you know, I'm not saying that you're under pressure, but in a very strange environment. It's like kind of like being a deep sea diver. You're under the sea. You're seeing different things. You're seeing strange things which aren't normal. So I'm standing there with a mic, hundreds of people in front of me. I've got to keep this level of laughter up all the time. And I've actually come off stage and people have said to me, "That was a great gag you done. That one about going in the shop to buy a little boat for your son." And I've gone, no, I didn't do that gag. And they did, you done that gag, you did it. Sometimes you can't even remember what you've done. You kind of like, just on reflex. It's kind of on impulse, on instinct. You're telling material. I've shouted things to hecklers, and somebody said, "Bloody hell, you know, that was a good one." I thought, fucking hell, I can't even remember saying it. And what is very, very like a boxer, I remember I referred to him earlier on, John H. Tracy. East End lad, he lives up here now, lives in Liverpool, a great friend of mine from the East End of London. He won the World Welterweight Championship, the WBC, WBA in 1975, a long time ago. But he beat Jose Napoles in front of 100,000 people in Mexico City in a bull ring. And he always says to me, the first 4 or 5 rounds of the fight, he has no recollection of at all. He can't remember. And he got put down, but he came back up and knocked out Napoles, became the first British boxer to win a world title abroad. That's exactly a fantastic boxer, but he can't actually remember a lot of the fight. So that tells me that you're doing some things on instinct, impulsively, aren't you? So, yeah, that's the way it is on comedy.
Brilliant. Okay, let's see. I can't believe you haven't done an arena yet. You'd sell it out, no problem. That's from Jamie Henderson.
This is my manager.
Tell everyone what your honest opinion is on that.
I don't think we'd be able to sell an arena.
I swear to God, this man doesn't believe that he could sell out a fucking back kitchen.
I'm very modest.
Okay, on that note, we've got Nuno Santo, who said, Frankie, do you get asked for autographs and selfies in Liverpool when you're out and about now that you are famous?
Well, it's a strange thing, and it's very weird that you should ask me this. Let me tell you why. During the lockdown, everybody had this atmosphere and, you know, kind of like people didn't really speak to each other, and especially when it was a full lockdown and you could only go out for food and to get petrol at the gas station and things. It was horrible. Never really bumped into anybody. Nobody asked me for pictures and nobody asked me for autographs, which nobody does anyway now, even with the big stars. But yeah, you're right. I mean, today, strangely enough, I've been like, what I normally get, you know, on the motorway and things when I'm driving around is young lads. It is normally hanging out of like vans and workers hanging on road workers, a lot of sanitation, you know, have been people hanging out and shouting, Frankie, Frankie, Frankie. But yet today I've been asked for 5 different people today for pictures. Yesterday was the same, the day before. So everywhere we go, really, especially, as you say, Merseyside. I'm not sure if this is a nationwide thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there'll be more hotspots than others, yes, certainly. But you guys can probably tell us.
You're right. I mean, it's every day now. Every single day I get asked to get stopped. You know, people at the traffic lights, people blowing the horn. If they go anywhere, even the shops. Went to the Iceland last week, do a bit of shopping. Some of the lads in there came up and asked me for pictures. Got it today. Went and got my eyebrows done in this sunbed place in Green Lane in Tuebrook in Old Swan, Liverpool. Anybody knows the place. And that's why I look a little bit like Virgil Tracy of fucking, what's the International Rescue? What was that thing called on the television, a puppet show? Thunderbirds.
There you go. Okay.
Look like Thunderbirds. But yeah, get asked for pictures all the time. The only place I ever asked for autographs was when we went to Northern Ireland and everybody wanted signatures. So it's a bit of a thing over there, signatures.
Brilliant. Okay, we've only got 10 minutes left. If you are watching this, please do give us a thumb up, get it shared. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. We want to know where you have tuned in from tonight. If you're watching this on replay, please comment replay. But if you're watching it live, please tell us where you tuned in from, whether it's Manchester, Glasgow, Swindon, Torquay, Devon. I don't care. I want to know, because it means that we can plan our UK tour and get to see every single one of you. So a lot of questions of where we're coming to. Any plans for Glasgow? Paul's saying, are you coming to Wolves? And he didn't mean to come across disrespectfully. Don't worry about that, mate. And people asking for Salford. So basically, what we are trying to do at the moment is get to everywhere in the UK. We're in negotiations with venues in Glasgow. We're in negotiations with venues in Wolves. We're in negotiation with venues in Salford and in Manchester.
We will be in Salford. We're going to go everywhere in the UK. We're going to be in Low Broughton or Higher Broughton or Kearsley. So I know everywhere in Manchester, Salford. It's a strange thing, you know, Manchester.
What are we saying about strange thing in Manchester?
Manchester people and Salford people, or people think they're the same people, but it's different. It's a different town, really.
Brilliant. What we'd love to know from you guys, though, is in your particular area, where is the best venue to do? So that's something that we're looking at the moment. It's very, very difficult. Like, let's say if we want to go to, I don't know, Glasgow, we might go, where would be the best place for us to come to in Glasgow? Would love to let you know whether that's, would love for you to let us know whether that's Wolves or Salford or Glasgow or wherever. Okay, Dave Down says, how's the sciatica, Frankie? I've still got it from last year in my leg and I can't shift it. Any tips?
You've got to be so careful with it, you know, because the tip, my tips are this. So let's say the tips. I know everything about sciatica. Very often go to a fellow called Mike Ferguson in Tuebrook in Liverpool, who's an osteopath, and he kind of like stretches me arms, stretches me legs, and that can get rid of it. He's even had me on this kind of hanging machine, hanging my arms, and it's all about the disc, which becomes compressed in your spine. And there's hardly any gel in between as you get older. It rubs together, and it causes this pain and paralysis really down one side. So yeah, my advice here is this: if it flares up, and it can just flare up, just if you move a certain way, you aggravate it. What I would say to the best thing is go to bed, and if you can, as long as you're not working, go to bed and just lie flat for as long as you can. And there are a couple of exercises you can do. I'll show you right now. This is what you want to do. If the sciatica is down your right side, you pick up your knee with both hands clasped like that. Nobody can see you, not like that. And you lie flat on the bed, but press your knee up towards your chest and hold it there for a couple of minutes and release very slowly. And that's very good for sciatica.
Oh, brilliant. Shout, Frank. Okay, let's see what people are saying. We've got Paul saying, going to definitely see you when you're down Essex or Kent. If you need any logistical help, boys, PM me and I can sort. Appreciate that, Paul, massively. Keris says, been a great night listening, and thanks for the question reply. Keep up the great work. Really appreciate it. Luke Haley is saying, good work, boys. Keep up the good work. Peace out. Appreciate it. Let's see. We've got Jamie Anderson, who says, book the Hydro in Glasgow, and I guarantee with the correct advertising and marketing, you would sell a place out at 12,000. Jamie, if you were right, mate, I would fucking do it all day long.
Okay.
But based on the numbers, we ain't doing 12,000 people in Glasgow, trust me. What do you think of that?
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Okay. Any plans to come to Huddersfield? Sadly, the Angel Pub is now closed in Paddock, but the Irish Centre is still open. Done Huddersfield Irish Centre.
I used to love it. And tell me, if you come on again next week, try and find out if he's still alive. What happened to Brian, who's a very good friend of mine, a great guy, who used to run the Angel in Paddock. Okay, so the Huddersfield tickets are on sale now. It's not been publicised just yet because we know that they're going to sell out. But if you want a quick, just to dive in before anyone gets them, the tickets are on sale now for the parish in Huddersfield on the 26th of June. Just type in Skiddle, Frankie Allen, you'll find them on there. Okay, let's see what people are saying. We've got Dean Aldridge in the chat. What's happening, mate? Dean, how are you, mate?
Oh, you're all right, fella. We've got John Taylor says, try jumping on them high-rise flats on a motorbike in Netherley. You'll soon know how real back pain feels.
Now, this guy that comes on now is Liverpool's answer to Evel Knievel. And he's jumped on his motorbike from one high-rise block of flats to another. Can you believe that? Absolutely amazing. And he's got, obviously, I can't even go on a fucking lift. I'm so scared. Can't get on an escalator, and I can't fly. So there's a very, very, very brave man.
Okay, we've got Mike Lawrence asking for you to come to Malta. Nuno's wrote, Frankie, did you watch any of the Stand Up and Deliver show on Channel 4 about comedians being trained?
Didn't see that one, I'm afraid. Didn't see it.
Did you not see it? It was like Sean Ryder in there.
Yeah. And strange enough, I was reading up about the guy that came on from Come to Malta. I was reading up about Britney Spears today. And her mother was born in London, but she was Maltese. Now, I didn't know that. I think she was from Valletta. Yeah.
Really?
Maltese.
How come you were reading about Britney Spears?
Why not? I'm just scrolled things down. It was just links, and they're looking at her sing, and it came on Britney Spears.
Okay, decent. We've got Nick Holland in here from Stoke. Good lad. What's happening? Jason Mylan on the last couple of questions. He says, Frank, if you were to make a movie of your life, who would you get to play you?
Probably Nicolas Cage, because nobody else would believe that. Nobody would probably take the role, and you'd have to get Stephen King to direct and be like a horror film.
How come you'd have Nicolas Cage?
Because he's always in horrible movies, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Terrible things. No, seriously, I watched a great film the other night, and I'm not trying to be big time or whatever, compare myself with him, because he's a huge Hollywood movie star. But the actual story of the character in the movie, it really reminded me of the life that I've had, and that was The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
How come?
Well, you've watched it, haven't you?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, you want to watch it. It's a great film.
Is it decent?
And what it is, he's a wrestler in the States who's going around the circuit he kind of makes it in a way, but never really makes it big time. And he finds himself getting kind of old, but he's still doing the wrestling. And because of his addiction to wrestling, he's been divorced and he's got a kid that, that this girl, his daughter, he falls out with his daughter. So it's all about his life. His life's all fucked up because of his addiction to wrestling, and he won't give it up. And in the end, I won't tell you the end because you want to watch a great film. He has a heart condition and he's told to give it up to wrestling, but he wasn't. Mickey Rourke, you want to watch a great movie. Mickey Rourke and an actress called Marissa Tomei, who was in My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, I want to watch that movie, The Wrestler.
Brilliant. Okay. Collie, you were asking him where he was driving. He says, back to Glasgow, lads. That's where he's going.
Yeah, well, I've noticed when I've been up to Blackpool, there's a great motorway system in Scotland, so be safe.
Okay, brilliant. Let's talk to some people. Last few people. We've got 5 minutes left on this chat. Massive thank you. We've got, these are some good ones. Keris is saying Port, Glasgow Town Hall. I was actually looking at that, so good shout. Appreciate that. If you know any venues near to you that would be worth us taking, please let us know. We've got Welsh John who says, big up from Cardiff, lads. Keep going. Really enjoy your entertainment. A lot of people asking when you're coming to Essex. There's loads of tour dates that are being announced towards the end of this week. Unfortunately, Essex isn't one of them, but we're looking to try and do Essex ASAP. We've got Stuart Stradthree who says, Strathdy, sorry. You two lads rock. You have no idea how much you've helped people through all this epidemic. Cheers, lads, and all the very best. Stuart, you're a good lad.
All we've tried to do, all I've tried to do, and Will's trying to do, is just to speak to people. And this is kind of like my contribution to the pandemic is this. And I'll say it today, I'll say it again, I'll say it now. Communicate. If you live on your own, I live on my own, don't be a kind of like a clam. Don't clam up. Speak to people. The secret is communication. If you've got no money, you can't go to the pub or whatever, you can't go out, you've got no friends, got no family, speak to the postman, walk down the street, go to the park and speak to people. You will find human beings love to conversate. You need conversation. And if you've any problems, we've all got problems. People are watching this now with massive problems. We've all got financial, health problems, different things. Everyone in the country. And I find if you speak to people, and people are very clever, British people are very clever. They'll always give you some good advice. You'll find people who you don't even suspect would know anything about certain health problems, certain organs in the body, or certain things to do, ways of life, or whatever. Yeah, you want to get on and communicate.
Brilliant. Okay, last couple from people in here. A great movie, The Wrestler. Watching from South East Ireland. Hope to see you over here soon, top lads. Nice one, Michael.
Well, South East Ireland, he's Waterford, really. A lot of friends of mine, a lot of Liverpool people, obviously descended, 3/4 of Liverpool descended from Ireland. But a lot of people, and myself included, their ancestors. My grandfather was born in Bray, further down in Dublin, but brought up in Waterford. And both sides of my family are from Waterford, strangely. So, yeah, Waterford got a big connection with Liverpool.
Okay, let's see. Last couple. Mitch Russell says, what's your best chat-up line, Frank?
I don't bother with birds anymore. I hate birds.
Okay, and people are asking for the Buttermarket, Shrewsbury. Nice shout, Kev. I love that. Any chance to come in Norfolk or Suffolk? Any gigs for Stoke? All of these, I'm sure, will be announced
we
soon.
Did Switch in Suffolk a couple of years ago. Fantastic. Norfolk, we've done Norwich, which was great. We want to get to all these places. As I say, sadly, this lockdown has put everyone back. Like being in a time machine and Back to the Future. We've kind of gone back in time, so we've got to start again.
Nice one. David says, Stuart's 100% bang on. You've helped us all over the last 12 months, but we need another savage night like last year. Wasn't that your paranormal night?
Yeah, but nobody liked it. You pulled it off. You didn't want it on.
Yeah, and then everyone started savaging each other. I thought it was unbelievable.
Well, let's do the savage nights then. Not paranormal, just taking the piss out of each other, but in a nice way. Not like that fucking... That's
that weird troll before. Yeah, he's a fucking helmet. Okay, Michael says he's actually in Waterford too. Nice one, gents. Have a good night. Nice one.
I'm in Tramore or Dunmore East.
Okay, so that is going to be it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Massive thank you for tuning in. If you have watched this live, please tell us where you tuned in from tonight and where you'd like us to come to in the UK. You know, what we're after are venues and cities. So if you're in Manchester, tell us which venue to come to. If you're in Glasgow, tell us which venue to come to. It really, really does help, whether it's Suffolk, Norfolk, whether it's Birmingham, right down south, Bournemouth, Pompey, up north, you let us know. We're going to try and get to everywhere in the UK. If you are watching this on replay, please comment replay. Frank, have you enjoyed this live
Thoroughly
today?
enjoyed it, so much so that the last hour has just seemed like 10 minutes. And I'd love to stay on a bit longer, but obviously it's up to Will.
Right, no, we're going to have to close this off because I've got stuff to do and I've been working since 6 a.m. this morning.
Let me tell
so
you
we're
what
all
the
good.
stuff to do is.
Go on.
It's because his bird's coming down.
Obviously. I've been up since 6 today. You've just been chilling all the time. So, yeah, Keith Roberts says, rooting for you.
I've got the root.
Yeah, the root's on fire. Frank the Ghost checking out. Cheers, guys. Love it.
Take care, Frank. All the best,
Massive
mate.
thank you. Let's see what people are saying. We've got the last couple. Dave Regan saying, get the gym, mate. I've been twice today. Where have you been, Dave? And look, we've loved having you all on. So massive thank you. If you're on YouTube, please press subscribe. Like the video, comment below, be sound. And Frank, any last words for anyone?
Yeah, my last words are, hope not my final words, last word. Look after yourself, look after your family. You know, we've all struggled. It's been absolutely horrendous financially, emotionally. We've all lost people, close friends and family, but we're coming out of it now, thank God. So let's just keep your fingers crossed. From July, talking in the newspapers today about it going back to complete normality. And only 6 people died today. Did you know that? Of coronavirus, which is a record low. So, you know, it's so sad what's happening in India and other places, China, around the world, people dropping like flies. But let's get it, you know, we're trying to help them, we're sending them stuff. But thank God, in the UK anyway, for us, we're doing great. And, you know, get vaccinated and keep yourself healthy.
Brilliant. Jason says, legends, guys, see you soon. Massive thank you to everyone who's tuned in for today's video, which was dedicated to our friend Young Dave, who sadly lost his niece in a really, really tragic accident. So yeah, this all of our thoughts and prayers are with him. I'm sure your thoughts and prayers are with Dave and the family today. So have a good one. Have a great week. We will see you, and keep your eyes peeled for some tour tickets that are going live this week. Keep your eye
on your phone. Tour tickets are going to come up. The tour dates where we're working and the availability of tickets. So I'd love to see you all coming along and meet you in person.
Nice one. Catch you all later.
Take care, everybody. God bless.
In a bit.
See you later.